Not recording? Yes, I am. Hello there, Marley Moo. Good morning. I hope you had a good night's sleep. I saw your uniform. You look very excited to go to school. It looks very nice. It's very warm and it looks cool. And I love your sports uniform. I'm trying to see where the camera is. Nanny's eyes are all over the shop. I have a book for you today. This is by Jocelyn Crabb and it's called Ozzie Goes to School. He's about an Australian boy and he's a little bit frightened about going to school. And it reminded me of you, so I thought I can read that. Ozzie lived on a beach with his dad in a shipping container. Can you see that? Hello. A shipping container is like a big container that goes on a ship. And they put lots of things in to travel all across the world. But this is a shipping container. It's got a window and a door, and they live inside. Every morning, he and his dad ran along the high tide line searching for treasure. There were fantastic rocks and shells to collect, and almost always, Ozzie found something someone had lost. The best treasures were the fishing lures. Ozzie wasn't afraid of anything at the beach. And you see, there's his dad. Oh, he looks like he's got a bicycle hoop. And there's Ozzie running along. He's got fishing lures, just like poppies. Ozzie wasn't afraid of hard work either. Every morning he made his bed and swept out the container. Later, he'd gather driftwood and make a fire for afternoon tea. You see, he's collecting all the wood. He's cleaned out their container. I'll keep these books so when you come over, we can read them together. Because you would have already started school then. Ozzie wasn't afraid of the dark. It was really, really dark inside the container when the door is closed, but I like it, he said, because it's nice and cool. And here's he's going to bed with his dad, giving him a high five, and it's a bit dark when the light's off, isn't it? He's not afraid. Ozzie wasn't afraid of snakes. They won't bother you if you don't bother them, said Dad. Ozzie wasn't even afraid of crocodiles. My dad and I always check for crocs when we're on the beach. We never go too close to the water. They must be in the northern part of Australia. Can you see? There's a crocodile. Let's get close. And they're on the beach. They've seen it, so they don't want to get too close. But Ozzie was afraid of something. Ozzie was afraid of school. He'd never been before. I don't want to go to school, he said. Who will go fishing with you, Dad? Who will go and get wood for the fire? His dad just smiled. You have to go to school, son. You need to learn to read and write. So Ozzie promised to give it a go, but just for 1 week. There's Ozzie. He's looking a little bit worried, isn't he? But it's okay. All these jobs, you can do them on the weekend. On Monday, the teacher, Mrs. Jocelyn, asked Ozzie to tell everyone his news for news time. Ozzie was scared. What was Mrs. Jocelyn thinking? That he'd be crazy enough to get up in front of all these strange people and talk? But before he knew it, it was even time for recess. There's Ozzie. There's Mrs. Jocelyn. He looks a bit frightened, doesn't he? And he has to get up in front of all the kids. They don't look scary though, do they? But Ozzie doesn't know them, so he's a little bit nervous. Ozzie was very nervous and he ran home. Nope. Picked up his bag, ran out the gate, ran all the way home. On Tuesday, Ozzie and Dad got up early and together they found a great big lure and caught an enormous barramundi. I reckon this'll make some good news, Dad. Wow, that's a great big fish. And he went to school and he told them about his story. And it was some good news. But then, right after news time, Mrs. Jocelyn said it was time for some maths. Ozzie was scared. He didn't know how to do numbers. He didn't know much about numbers at all. He didn't know how to do takeaway or times tables or multiplication. And before Mrs. Jocelyn could even start to explain, oh dear, he's looking very worried. What do you think Ozzie will do? Uh-oh. Ozzie ran home. Oh dear. On Wednesday, Dad took Ozzie to school. During maths, Ozzie played with the blocks. He worked out how many were needed to make a big box big enough to hold a barramundi. Can you see that? There he is. Big box holding a barramundi. After recess, it was reading time. Ozzie was scared. He didn't know how to read. Wasn't that why Dad said he had to go to school? And before anyone could even get a book out, uh-oh. What's in Ozzie's hand? What do you think he'll do? Ozzie ran home. Uh-oh. Oh, look at his dad. His dad's doing some jobs. He's like, what the heck? Why are you here? On Thursday, things went pretty well. Ozzie brought his best fishing lures to show the class for news time. In maths, Mrs. Jocelyn let him write numbers on a whiteboard with her special big blue marker. And at reading time, she read a book about barramundi to the whole class. Look. Wow, the big book of fish. And there's Ozzie writing some numbers on the board. That looks exciting, doesn't it? Ozzie liked listening to stories. He even learned some of the words himself. He liked news time. Some of the kids did very cool stuff. He also liked playing with blocks and drawing. There. He's looking a little bit more comfortable at school now, isn't he? He liked recess and lunch and to the new friends he had made. Ozzie wasn't afraid of school anymore. And so on Friday, look, there's Ozzie's friends. They look happy, don't they? What happened on Friday? Ozzie ran to school. That's a good story. I like that. Well, I hope you're going to be as excited about your going to school as well. Because when I get to see you, you can tell me all the stories about you. Now, Nanny has another story, but I'm going to read it as soon as I finish with this other one. So I was just thinking, what are you going to do today? I wonder if you're going to go on your bike, take Choppy for a walk, or push Roxy in the pram. All that sounds fun. All right, my darling Marley Moo, I miss you very much. You ready for Nanny Deb kisses? All right, see you soon. I wonder if Roxy's there. Hello, Roxy. All right, you better be good for your big sissy. All right, love you very much, Marley Moo. And give your mummy a big squeeze as well. I love her too. All right then, bye-bye.